Good morning. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. So today's practice, we're going to do 3 rounds of Wim Hof breathing. In the final round, we're going to do a beautiful child's pose, which is a nice hip compression and a shoulder opener. And we're going to follow that with a complete beginner's yoga practice, where I'm going to explain some of the foundational poses that are used across all genres of yoga. So whatever you choose to do going forwards, whether it's vinyasa or hatha or any other branch of yoga, you will use these poses. And so we'll go through some of those slowly, and I'll show you how you can use blocks to do that. So if you like this video, please like it, and if you like my things, subscribe. Take care. And tomorrow I think we're going to look at doing something with CrossFit, so potentially stretches, so tune into that.
Okay, let's come to the mat. If you don't have a yoga block, you can get a big book and use that instead of a yoga block, and a cushion. Yoga should be relatively cheap, really. Blocks only cost a few pounds, and obviously if you have a sticky mat, that's also ideal, because you may find that your feet slip in some of the poses. And always be barefoot. In the breath hold of the Wim Hof method breathing, we're going to come into an extended child's pose. So if you struggle to sit back with your bottom to your feet, then you can put a cushion between them, because it's important that the bottom is reclined. If you're comfortable with your bottom and your feet in this extended child pose, that's the position we will hold during the final breath hold for 1 minute. Okay, come to the front of your mat and either lie down or sit down, and we'll start round 1. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Belly, chest, head, let it go. We're going to do 30 breaths in each round, breathing in at 100% and out at 70. We're going to hyperoxygenate our bodies and reduce the carbon dioxide in the bodies to put our body into hermetic stress. Keep going, breathing in and out. Make the breath circular, so you breathe in and out all in one circular motion, so there's not a pause at the bottom and the top. So at no point does your body have a chance to re-establish homeostasis at this stage. We're trying to put our bodies into a stress situation, but it's one that we are consciously controlling. Keep going, breathing in and out. Belly, chest, head, let it go. 10 more together. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Huge belly breaths in, right to the bottom of the stomach, right into the top of the head. In and out, like the waves on the shore. In and out. 5 more together. Breathing in relaxation and blowing out stress. In and out. In and out. Well done. Last one. Biggest one yet. In. Let all of this air out. And we're going to hold this together for 1 minute 30 seconds. I will cue you at a minute, and I'll cue you again at 10 seconds. So if you need to take your breath before, absolutely fine. Take your recovery breath and then continue the breathing. But if you'd like to hold your breath for longer, at 10 seconds, pause your video and hold it for as long as you like. Make this practice yours, so we don't have to breathe at the same pace. We don't have to hold our breaths for the same amount of time, because this is about you and achieving your own health, strength and happiness from this practice. Because we've hyperoxygenated the blood, you'll start to feel sensations during this process, maybe a tingling in the fingers or a constriction of the muscles. We've done 1 minute together. You may feel your heartbeat much stronger than usual, or your temperature may change. Some people feel colder or warm on the inside and cold on the outside. All of this is normal. Okay, we've got 10 seconds left. So if you want to pause the video and hold your breath for longer, do so now. 5 seconds left. Let's get ready to take a recovery breath in. Ready? In it comes. Huge breath pushed up through every single muscle from your toes to the top of your head, forcing oxygen up into the brain, decalcifying the pineal gland, and out. Okay, amazing. Let's move on to round 2. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Keep going. Either find your own pace or breathe with me. In and out. As long as you're getting the effects of the breath, so tingling and pins and needles or lightheadedness, that's all good. Remember, if you're feeling lightheaded, then you can lie down for this practice, but never ever do it standing up or near water or operating machinery or driving, because you can pass out. And whilst that is safe in and of itself, it's not safe to do if you are in a dangerous place. So please use caution. Okay, we're still breathing in and out. 30 breaths in this round once again. Keep going. Huge belly breaths in. 10 more together. So belly, chest, head, let it go. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Make these the biggest ones yet. Any aching you're feeling in your chest now or across the shoulders, if you're new to this practice, 5 more. That's all normal, and it's using new muscles or muscles you haven't used very much. We're working into those muscles to expand the lungs. It's all good. Keep going. This is our last one. Big one in and all out. Let's hold our breath together for 1.5 minutes. Again, if you need to take a breath before, that's fine. And if you'd like to hold it for longer, I will queue up at 10 seconds and 5 seconds. Really go inside now and feel into the sensations in the body. Intensify them. Scan your body from your toes. How are your feet feeling? Any sensations in the knees, the thighs, the hips. Feel into the abdomen and the chest and the heart area and the lungs. They've worked so hard to do these breaths. How do they feel? Can you feel your heart? How is your temperature changed? Feel down into the arms. We've done 1 minute. Feel into the fingers. Any numbness or tingling or pins and needles. And your head. Can you feel or hear anything in the ears? Listen to the sounds of your body from the inside. 10 more seconds. If you want to pause the video to hold your breath for longer, do it now. 5. Let's get ready to take a recovery breath. And in we come. In it goes. Push this breath up into the brain. Pushing cerebral fluid up into the brain. Usually takes 12 hours for cerebral fluid to get to the brain from the base of the spine, and we're doing it in seconds. It's going to have and out. Let that go. It has an amazing effect on your body. Last round number 3. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Belly, chest, head, let it go. 30 more breaths here together. Let's go. In and out. Circular breaths. In and out. As you're breathing now, as we get to this final round, really intensify the feelings that you're having. So wherever you're feeling different sensations, intensify them. Imagine you're breathing into them even more. Keep going. In and out. In and out. These breathing practices like this, conscious breaths, have been used for thousands of years to promote health and to live in extreme conditions. It's so beneficial for the health because you're taking these conscious, deliberate breaths. If, however, you ever do feel panicky because you're breathing in and out through your mouth so heavily, 10 more, then just take it through the nose, take the air in through the nose. It'll have the same effect. You just may be able to hold your breath a little less time, but the effect will be the same, and you may not feel any anxiety through doing it through the nose. Make it work for you. Okay, this is our last one. The biggest breath yet. Let it all out and then fall back into an extended child's pose. So we're going to fall back onto the feet and our body is going to fold between the knees. If you need to use a cushion for your bottom and your feet, between your bottom and your feet, do so. If you don't, that's great. You're just sitting back onto the feet. If this extended pose is too much, then you can put the arms by your side. The forehead is just resting gently on the mat. And then in this position, really focus on the feelings in the body. It's a strong compression in the hips, and it's also a beautiful stretch for the lower back. This is a great pose for anyone with lower backache. It also stretches out the ganglia of nerve fibres, 10 seconds left, that we have at the base of the spine, which we spend a lot of time sitting on and crushing, and this really gives them a workout and gives them space. Okay, huge belly breath in, hold it, push it up, force it into the brain. I'm being photobombed by a 3-year-old here that needed the toilet. Hold it and release. Well done, well done. That's our breathing section completed. Okay, beginner's yoga. So let's start with head circles. Half head circles is probably the way forward because we don't want to risk any injuries at this stage. So we're taking the head from side to side at your own pace. Breathe in as you come to the front and out at the side. So just feel any knots or anything in the shoulders here. Okay, shoulder circles backwards. So bring them up to the ears and then circle them backwards. Really, really ironing out the wrinkles. And now forwards. So bring them up to the ears and bring the shoulders forwards. We carry a lot of stress in our shoulders and our necks, so it's important to warm them up before we start. Okay, take either your book or a block and set the block to your left. I'm going to raise the right arm and lean onto the block, and we'll do a side stretch with the support of the block. Now, the aim here is to keep the bottom firmly on the floor and to make sure we're leaning over side to the side with the back straight, because we don't want to collapse into it. Now take the right arm to the left knee, gaze up, breathe in, and as we breathe out, gaze over your left shoulder. Breathe in to lengthen, breathe out to twist. Well done. Take the block to the side, raise the left arm up, and then fold over to the right. Again, keeping the body in line, so the back is nice and straight, and so the fold is all in the one up the left hand side. We're not twisting in the body here. Come up to seated, and then take the right hand to the left knee. Oh, and if you do at any point have struggled to sit in this pose for too long, you can put a cushion under your bottom and it will help you keep your back straight. So take the right hand to the left knee, breathe in to lengthen and out to twist. So in to lengthen, out to twist. Keeping the back straight, so you're sitting up through the spine, not collapsing, not rounding out. Okay, well done. Now bring the block out in front of you and just fold forward, keeping the bottom on the floor or on the cushion. So we're getting a stretch into the back and also a beautiful hip opener here. Well done. Change the cross of your legs, and we're going to do that again because you'll find it gets into the other groin this time a little bit more, and we want to keep our practice even and our bodies evenly worked. If you feel you don't need the cushion, then take it away if you can keep your bottom on the floor, but use the props as you see fit. Okay, come on to all fours on the mat with the arms underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips and a nice straight spine, and then take the right arm high and we're going to post it beneath the left arm, and we're going to come onto the right shoulder and the right cheek. Now my hips are still over my knees here, so that means the weight isn't, I'm not collapsing onto my shoulder or my face. So I'm getting a stretch in the neck and the shoulder, but the weight isn't all on them. We've got to protect these joints. So keeps most of the weight in the knees here. Come back up and we'll change sides. So raise the left arm high and post it beneath the right arm, and come onto the left cheek and the left shoulder. And again, you can see that my knees are in line with my hips. Keep breathing during these postures. Don't hold your breath, because when we blow off carbon dioxide, we're also blowing off weight. Right, turn the toes under, and we're going to come up into a downward dog, and I'll talk you through this pose, because this is one of the most brilliantly used poses in yoga. So it's a heart opener. There's no weight in the head, and our body's going to be at a V position. And whilst when you first start, you can keep your knees bent, we are eventually working them towards straight, and the heels are working towards the mat. Keep working out the legs, and then come to stillness. If you can't straighten them, it doesn't matter. If your heels don't come to the floor, it doesn't matter. No weight is in your head here either. So the work is in your arms and in your legs, and push up through your hands so you're not collapsing into your shoulders. Keep your fingers spread wide on the mat to distribute the weight. Okay, come back to all fours, and then slowly lower, like a half push-up between the hands, and we're going to do some raising, some cobras. So raise the back up with an in-breath, and then breathe out. Breathe in, raise the head up, arch the back, breathe out, come back to the mat. Breathe in, raise the head up, arch the back, breathe out, forehead back to the mat. Well done. Okay, we're going to Sphinx pose, so elbows beneath the shoulders. Take the head back if it's comfortable. If it's not comfortable, keep it in line with the neck. But it's good to open out the thyroid here. So even if you can just gently extend the neck, if there's no pain, sharp pain or stabby pain, then do so, because it does work out the thyroid. Okay, come back to all fours. Turn the toes under. Come back to a downward dog. So remember that position is a V position. You can keep your knees bent if you want to, that's fine. No weight in the head, pushing up through the arms evenly. And then walk as many steps as it takes to the front of the mat. Keep the knees bent here, and we're going to bring the tummy, the stomach, to the knees. So keep the knees as bent as you need to be able to fold over the knees. And then we're going to straighten one leg and then the other. So we're getting a really good stretch in the lower back, but we're also warming up the hamstrings, ready for the practice. You can use the block to help you balance if you want to, or you can have your hands in ragdoll like this and just find some motion with no weight in the head at all. The back is just hanging. Okay, bring your hands to your block or your book, and we're going to do a flat back pose, which is exactly what it sounds like on the tin. Our legs are tried to work towards straight, and our back is straight. Okay, now we're just going to go through our standing pose. This is Tadasana, and our body is in complete alignment. Bring the hands above the head, and that alignment stays in place. So the shoulders are away from the ears. Cactus the arms, back bend, breathe in, back up. Breathe out, we're going to cactus again, back bend, breathe in, arms raised. Cactus one more time, breathe in, breathe out, arms raised. Well done. Now we're going to do a twist here. So keeping the hips bumped to the front of the room, take the right arm forward and the left arm back. Look over the left shoulder, keeping the hips bumped to the front of the room, and you will feel a twist in the spine from the coccyx up to the top of the head. Change sides. So the left arm comes forward, right arm comes back. Look over your right shoulder and keep the hips facing forwards, and then the twist goes all the way up the body. Bring the arms back. These twists are going to support your core, and then swan dive to a forward fold. So you can take hold of the block here to support your forward fold and your balance. And you remember, you can keep your knees bent if you want to. We're just working them towards straight. Then flat back using that block again. And then bring the hands to the mat and step back into a downward dog. Again, pushing the weight up through all 4 limbs. Toes, the feet are about hips width apart and the heels slightly turned out. And then we're going to bring the left foot between the hands. It doesn't matter how many steps that takes. Turn the right foot out, on tram tracks, they're not in a line. And we're going to come to warrior 2. So this is a hip opener. So the back foot is turned in at about 30 degrees and the front foot is facing the top of the mat. The hips are open and the body is over the hips. The shoulders are away from the ears and the shoulders are open. And we're gazing over the left fingers. Sink down into that knee, but don't fold forward over the knee with the torso. And now we're going to come to a side angle pose using the mat, the block. So raise the right hand high and look up to that right hand, or you can take it over the head, and that gives you a beautiful line of energy from your toes, on your right toes to your right fingers, and then come back up to your warrior 2. And then we're going to reverse the warrior. So take the right hand down the right leg and take the left arm above the head. And then we're going to come to Trikonasana triangle pose. So again, using the block, bring straighten the legs, and we're going to take the left arm to the block and raise the right arm high and gaze up to the right arm. Now, if you can use the block at different levels depending on your ability. And if you don't have a block or a book, you can put your hands on your leg. Okay, come back to that warrior 2. And then open the legs. And we're going to come to a wide-legged stance. So use the block again. And we're going to do a wide-legged forward fold. So you can use the block for balance. Or you can bring the hands to the floor depending on your flexibility. Use the block as much or as little as you need to. So we're just folding between the legs, getting a beautiful stretch in the hamstrings, all the way down those legs on the inside. And then halfway lift using the block. So it's a flat back like we did with the legs together, but in that pose. And then turn the feet out and we're going to come to a yoga squat. So 5-pointed star, we stand up tall, hands together and sink down into the knees. Keeping the hips bumped forward so we're not folding the body over. And there's no weight in the toes, the weight is in the heels. Making sure that we're working into the thighs. 5-pointed star, stand up tall, sink back into that squat. Excellent. And now we're going to do that on the other foot, facing the other way on the mat. So the left foot is at the back of the mat and it turns in 30 degrees. And the right foot faces the front of the mat. Sink down into the warrior 2 on this leg now. So remember, it's a hip opener. We're tightening up the abs, we're knitting the ribs in, and we're standing up tall over those hips. And the arms are away, we're gazing over the right hand, and the shoulders are away from the ears. Take that into the side angle pose. So the right hand comes to the block and the left arm comes high. We gaze up to the left hand, or we can take the left arm over the head. Gazing to the front of the room. Okay, straighten that leg. Now we'll come to triangle pose. Again, gazing up to the top hand if you can. If you can't, you can stay looking at the floor or to the side of the room. But the feet are staying in the same position during these. So I'm just trying to demonstrate how we can do different moves. Come back to warrior 2. Reverse our warrior. So the left hand comes down the left leg and the right arm goes over the head. So we've done all of these poses without moving the feet. Okay, come back to the centre, feet facing forward, We'll come back to that forward fold with wide legs, using the block to balance. Take these poses as much or as little as you can. And then we're going to do a twist here. So the right hand comes to the block and the left arm lifts and the body twists. Keep breathing in and out through the nose during this practice. We don't want to hold our breath. Change hands. So the right hand comes to the block and the left arm lifts. Try and gaze up to the left fingers or at the or straight ahead, but depending on what's most comfortable. Hands back to the block and turn the feet out again to a 5-pointed star. So raise up tall, and then we're going to turn back to the front of the mat with a warrior 2. Bring the hands to the mat and step back. Bring the knees to the mat, and we're going to do a modified chaturanga, which is so we basically come to the mat like we would with a press up, but we just come all the way to the mat. And then step back into your downward dog. Well done. Just take some recovery breaths here, breathing in and out through the nose. And we're going to do this. Those were all open hip poses and open shoulders. And now we're going to do some closed hip poses. So bring the right foot forwards, turn the left foot in 30 degrees, and with the hips facing the front of the room, we're going to do warrior 1 pose. So the arms come above the head and internally rotate the shoulders so the pinkies are facing each other. Again, the torso is over the hips. We're not folding forwards and we're not going backwards. Keep the body over the hips in this pose, and the knee does not track over the toes. Straighten the leg. Take hold of your block again, and we're going to do a pyramid pose. So we're going to fold down over that front knee. Again, the hips are in line, so they are both facing the front of the room. So yoga is usually divided into poses that are open hips and closed, and so we've done our open ones, and now we're doing a series of closed hip poses. Excellent, well done. Move the block away, and then spin that back heel up, bring the back knee to the mat, and raise the arms above the head if you can find the balance. If not, you can use your block. And this is crescent lunge. In crescent lunge, we again need to make sure the knee does not go over the toes. And we're not sinking all of the weight into that front knee. Keep some of the work in the back leg as well. The body stays over the hips. And then we're going to come into half splits. So you can take 2 blocks or 2 books here and use that for support. And we're just going to bend the body, fold the body over the front knee, keeping the weight in the back knee, the hips over the back knee. This is half splits pose. Well done. Coming up to a low lunge now. So take that back knee off the floor. Use the hands for support, but don't sink all of your weight into them. And then straighten that front leg. Turn all the way. We're going to turn all the way to the back of the mat now and do those poses again. So this time the left leg faces the front of the mat. The right foot turns in at 30. Sink down into your knee, and we're coming to warrior 1 at the back of the mat. So shoulders turned in, internally rotated, so our pinkies face each other. Body straight, torso up for the spine. Sink in through that front knee, but don't let the knee go over the toes. There's work evenly in both legs here. The work isn't all in the front leg. Okay, excellent. Now we're going to straighten that front leg, and we'll do the pyramid pose. So you can use your block to fold over the front knee, or you can use 2 blocks, one either side of the leg, or 2 books, depending on what you've got handy. You don't have to spend loads of money to do yoga. You can use what you've got around the house. Okay, brilliant. And we're going to spin that back knee to the floor, and we're going to come into crescent lunge. And again, you can either use the blocks or books for balance, or you can raise the hands above the head if you feel comfortable. You'll find your body position is better, and you're less likely to flop over or concave the back if you can raise the hands. It's all about keeping a beautiful line in the spine. Make sure the hips are still facing the front of the room, remember. Come back into the half splits pose, so body over the back knee and the head folds towards the front knee. Keep work in the front leg, so if you turn your toes backwards and flex your foot, you'll find that you work all the way down into the ankle, not just in the hamstring. Trying to get the head towards the knee. Okay, use the blocks again to support you to come into a low lunge. Look forwards. Well done. Hold that low lunge, and then we're just going to turn all the way to the front of the mat. Step the foot back, come to all fours. Again, we're just going to do like a press up. This is like a chaturanga. Come to a cobra pose, like we did with those rolling cobras. And then fold back into a child's pose. Remember, you can put the cushion beneath your bottom if you can't reach your feet. Fold back, head to the mat, extended child's pose. We're getting a shoulder opener, arms stretched to the front of the mat. If the arms stretch forward is too much, put them by your sides. Okay, come back up to sitting. Hug the knees in here. So we're going to come into a little, it's cotton reel, and this will help our balance. So we're just going to now come up to standing into a forward fold. Working the legs towards straight, but there you can keep them bent as you need to. And then we're going to come into a chair pose. Chair pose is used a lot in yoga, so we'll practice it now. If you can keep your hands at your heart center as you lean back into your bottom. It's literally as though you're going to sit on a chair. Or if you feel comfortable, raise your hands up. There is no weight in your toes. The weight is in the heels. So that way you were protecting the knees. And then come up to standing. Well done. Okay, we're going to come to tree pose here. So you can either bring the toe into the heel into the ankle, or below the knee, or raise the foot just above the knee, or ideally bring it into the groin, and you can bring your hands to heart center, or if you feel that you can balance in tree pose, you can raise the hands above the head, internally rotating the shoulders so the pinkers are facing each other. Find a spot on the wall or wherever you are, or in the garden, or wherever you're outside, to focus on to help you balance in this pose. Okay, bring the hands back down, and we're going to practice staff pose. So scrunch the knee in towards you, and then let it go. Put the hands out for balance, and straighten the leg. And we're just going to hold it for a few seconds. This is staff pose. Well done. Change legs. So tree pose, you can either bring the toes to the floor and the heel into the shin, hold it below the knee, just above the knee, or ideally into the groin, into tree pose. Keep your hands either at heart center for balance, or you can raise them above the head if you're feeling balanced. Shoulders away from the ears, internally rotate the hands. Tree pose is a great pose for stability and for core strength. Okay, bring that knee into the chest, and then take the arms out for balance and straighten the leg. We're just going to hold that. This is a strength building pose and balance. Well done. Okay, we're going to bring the energy down now, and we're going to do a camel pose. This is a variation of camel pose because we're not going to do the full extension. So the knees are hips width apart, and then we're just going to lean back with the hands into the back and take a back bend. So pushing the hips forward, opening the shoulders, and if you can let your head fall back, do so. But if you have any sharp pains or electric pains in the neck, keep the neck in line with the shoulders and the head. If you can let your head tilt back, it's a great thyroid opener and very, very good stimulator for the parathyroid gland. Okay, fold forward into a child's pose to counteract that strong back bend. And then we're coming to rabbit's pose. So taking hold of your feet, rock onto your fold forward onto your head, the top of your head. I couldn't actually do this properly because I had a bun in, but I want you to go onto the crown of your head. So you're holding onto your shoulders, to your toes or your heels, and you're rocking onto the crown of your head. This is our inversion. Well done. Okay, we're coming to staff pose now. So sitting on your sitting bones, feet facing upwards, pull up through the quads, pull up through the body and sit up as straight as you can, as though you have a rod down the back through the top of your head into your sitting bones. Yeah, there's no weight in your hands, they're just there for stability, and you should make a 90-degree shape with your body. So you're not folding forwards or falling backwards. And now take a forward fold, keeping those legs straight. You can either bring your hands to your knees or to your ankles if you can, your feet if you can't, you're nowhere near and you can only fold forward a tiny bit, that's fine. We're not collapsing into this forward fold. We're just getting a good stretch down the lower spine. Okay, come into butterfly pose now, or Buddha Konasana or cobbler's pose. Sitting onto a cushion here, you might find it easier to do. Bring the soles of the feet together. You can either hold onto the ankles and push the elbows out, or you can hold onto the feet. If you want to take your feet further away from the body into diamond pose, that's fine if this is too strong. I like to hold onto my feet here because I find I can really pull up on my sitting bones and straighten my back out more and open those hips. Okay, well done. Right, coming on to our backs now. We're going to come into bridge pose. So bring the feet in as close as you can to the bottom and then push up through the feet, squeezing the knees together, squeezing the thighs together and pushing up through the bottom. Really thrusting up everything off the mat. Keep the head in line with the neck here. So we're not folding the chin in, and do not turn your head because there's a cervical stretch happening. Okay, lower the bottom back to the mat. Put the right leg over the left knee, right foot over the left knee, and either hold behind the thigh or ideally the shin, and then start to just gently pull the leg into the chest. So we're getting an opening in the right hip and a stretch in the glute. Make sure the work is in the legs, not in the arms here. So if you can only hold behind the thigh, that's absolutely fine. Okay, now fold those legs over to the side, over to the left, and keeping the right shoulder glued to the floor, and look over your right shoulder. If you need the support, you can put a cushion underneath the legs if it's uncomfortable. Okay, bring them back, guide them back with a hand for comfort. We'll take that to the side. So the left foot comes over the right knee this time. And we're either going to take behind the right thigh or ideally the right shin and just gently pull that into the body, making sure the work is in the legs, not the arms. So the opening is in the left hip this time and the left glute. This is reclined pigeon pose. It's a great stretch if you do lots of sports. Okay, now fold those legs over, this time to the right, looking over the left shoulder with the eyes and keeping the left shoulder firmly planted on the floor. Use the cushion for support. It doesn't matter how far you can fold as long as you're feeling the sensations. It doesn't matter if you use supports as long as you're getting the effect. This is a beautiful passive stretch and twist in the body. You've noticed we've done a lot of twists in this practice, and I choose to do that deliberately because it works out the internal organs and the psoas muscles. Right, let's take baby pose. happy baby. So you can either hold at the back of the thighs or the ankles or the shins, but ideally take the hands inside the knees and then take the outside of the feet. And then you can rock from side to side like a happy baby. So keeping the lower spine on the mat here. And so the compression is in the thighs and the opening in the hips and a stretch in the lower back. We've really worked out the lower back a lot, this practice, because it is an area where people can struggle, particularly when they start yoga. So we've done a lot of groin openers, a lot of hip openers, and a lot of stretches and twists. And you'll find by strengthening this area and your core that the practice becomes a lot easier, quicker. Okay, we're going to fall into corpse pose now. So feet fall open on the mat. You can take a cushion under the knees for support for your lower spine. The arms face upwards. And the shoulders are sinking into the mat. Keep your airways nice and open so your head isn't tilted too far back, but it's not scrunched forwards either. Getting photobombed again. And just close your eyes and just feel into the body. Feel any sensations or energy. When you've closed down your eyes, can you see any lights behind the eyes? This is the part of the practice really that essentially the best part. This is what yoga is for. It's for getting the body into the perfect place to meditate and to go inside. Okay, circle the hands on the wrists and the feet on the ankles. And we're just going to roll up a couple of times. So roll back on the spine, up to sitting. And again, roll back, come up to sitting. Last time, roll back, come up to sitting. And then meet me at the front of the mat. And you've just completed a beginner's yoga practice. If you have any questions, then inbox me or ask me on my website.